Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Allen Maldonado. I have the great pleasure of introducing the illustrious Coach Dave. What's up, baby? How you doing?
I thought it was going to be sexy physique.
I mean,
wearing the new shoes.
Listen, I was hoping you wore a cutoff sleeve as well, so you could show
Well,
that
first
off,
of
but
all,
we gonna wait.
First of all, this is a non-gun zone neighborhood that we're filming in, and I see you brought the guns.
Oh yeah, always. They always on me. They always on me. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be able to be in the studio. We're going to talk a little hoops. I've been a big fan of yours on TV. I know you've acted, you've directed. I've seen you in soap operas.
Man, I told you, Mr. You and Dr. Clapper. I've been listening to you for a very, very long time. Excited to share the pod whole scene with you and just this experience and talk about basketball, especially the Lakers. Let's go ahead and let's get into it about the Lakers. 7-2. What you think about that?
Well, I know this. If you and I would have said before the season ever started, without LeBron, missing Luka, missing Austin Reaves, that they would be 7-2 as we tape this first podcast. There's no way in hell we would have bet a nickel on that. And it really, you have to give credit. The league is about players. Players win games. Coaches like myself, we orchestrate. We give you the roadmap. But if you can get from A to C quicker than me taking you from A to B to see, then you do it. So it was all about connectivity, and it started last year. Do you remember JJ Redick at the end of the year, the exit interview? He said, hey, we all need to be in championship shape.
Yes.
And that's what set the tone. We all knew he was talking about Luka, and you can't out your star.
Correct.
But a lot of what he's doing, Allen, is coming from what he learned in his pedigree at Duke.
So let me ask you this. So as a coach, what do you think, what type of confidence as a coach, because being in the league, a lot of coaches don't feel like they have power over the players to even say something like that. And him being, what was that, his first year, the end of his first year, to be able to come out and say that as a coach, how do you feel like what really got him to that place as far as to have the confidence as a coach to come out and everybody knew who he was talking about?
I think his pedigree, coming from Duke, being one of, he's probably the second most hated Duke player ever. And when you think about that, every night you're going out and there's hate. It's not UCLA, USC hate.
No,
it's like the Hatfield and the McCoys. It's like Texas and Texas A&M. In Manhattan Beach, it's like, if the Bruins win, you buy martinis.
Right.
And if the Trojans win, you buy those Cuban cigars. Duke, North Carolina, the whole ACC back then. So there was a hatred. As a player, no one ever thought he could play. They looked at him and he was just a dookie. But yet he had such a regiment. He reminds me a little bit of TJ McConnell now, that started at Duquesne, went to Arizona, and now he's in the league. And he's probably the most coveted backup point guard. Well, that's what JJ Redick brought to this team. There's guys that have coached for years that don't have a locker room like JJ did.
Exactly.
But JJ didn't give a...
I know from the beginning. He
didn't give a, and I think when you had LeBron backing him, so when you have that guy backing you, and he led by example. There's nothing that JJ Redick hasn't asked or has been told to this team that he wasn't as a player, whether it was in college or whether it was in the NBA.
True. So so think about this for a second. Now, I'm just listening to you, and you say LeBron had his back, right? Now, starting a season without LeBron and seeing all of this success, do you think that brings extra pressure on their relationship as far as JJ Redick and LeBron, them starting off so good with him being on the bench? Do you think that's, as a coach, do you think that's going to be an issue or not?
Not an issue. I think it's a huge positive, because think of what he's done.
Right.
Keep out Luka and Austin Reaves. Gabe Vincent has been out a little bit here. Don't know when he's going to be back. If I'm LeBron James, I'm sitting there and saying, shit, I did help choose, and whether he wants to admit it or not, and I've never spoken to LeBron to ask him, did he have something to say? It's like everybody on TV, wants to just fake it. We ain't faking it. LeBron, you talk to your star. You can be the star of Blackish. If you want to get on Blackish, you better talk to Anthony Anderson.
Right. Exactly.
So that's the bottom line. If I'm LeBron, I'm saying, damn. Look at what they're doing. I think it puts a little bit of pressure for LeBron to get back up on top of the horse and get in the saddle. Everyone's saying, everyone's got an opinion. That's what makes this great, is that, they're playing so well when LeBron gets back. Listen, LeBron is one of the greatest players to ever play this game. Yes, he's the best player that I've ever seen 1 through 5. Everything's generational. We used to say, who's the greatest player? We talk about rings.
Yes.
Well, Bill Russell was. Then the next criteria was that was championship rings. Yep. Then the next one was when Kareem scored 38,387 points.
Right.
LeBron passed him. Oh, did you forget about Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan, 6 championships, 6 finals, 6 championships. Then you take the Kobe era. So it's all generational.
Correct.
It's all generational. So, when I look there, I say, LeBron sees what he's doing. LeBron is not going to hurt this team. LeBron will help this team offensively and defensively.
And his IQ is so amazing. Why I love LeBron so much is because he has transformed so many teams to championship level that I don't even understand why people question his ability to lead a team. He has been one of the greatest leaders I've seen on the basketball court, from taking that first team to the finals to now to still winning championships and still in pursuit of championships in his 23rd season. That's insane.
What's the worst thing you ever hear about LeBron? Well, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Other than that, and that, I'm not saying that's bad. We all have that prerogative to do that. And,
I love Miami.
Yeah.
If I'm going somewhere.
One day I spent a week there, if you know what I mean. It was. So my point is, you never hear about him as a citizen. You never hear about anything off the basketball court. And when you look at him, like I said, he's the most versatile player. Michael and Kobe couldn't guard a 5. Oh, they'd fight you.
Yeah, they would.
They'd scratch and claw you. But when you look at LeBron James, he's the size of Karl Malone with point guard skills. The other knock on him was, he's not clutch. This was early on, because he always made the right play. I love as a college coach and as an NBA coach and running basketball camps in Manhattan Beach, I love that he plays the right way. He's going to give up that shot that Kobe would never give up, that Michael would never give up, because he sees swing, or he sees 2 passes ahead. That's what made him special to me.
And what's interesting about that, what I always found fascinating when people question him being so clutch in these particular moments, the idea of the space. This guy was in 8 finals that's a clutch situation, period. No matter whether it's the first quarter or the fourth quarter, where so many people that have been in the league haven't even made it to the finals. So to question this person's clutch gene is insane when they're playing in the finals. It just makes no sense.
The toughest thing for anybody, regardless of what you're talking about, is to be happy for the success of others. Whether it's a business, whether it's a TV show with stars wondering, he's got better lines, or she's got better makeup and hair, and all that. People always want to drink the haterade, not the Gatorade. I will say this, and I didn't know we would get this in depth in LeBron. So no, I love this. That's what this is going to be. We're going to take things, we're going to run, and you know what? We're going to tell the damn truth.
Let's talk about it.
So, I remember when LeBron, first of all, I first met LeBron when he came out with his high school team to play at UCLA against Compton Dominguez, if I remember right. I know Jay Billis did the game. It may have been a Pango sponsored event, which was a big time basketball operation that his is always, Dino Stragonis has always brought in great players. And I remember going to Lowry's to a dinner and sitting there with his team. Yeah. I still have a picture of my two sons when they were in elementary school, and now, one's a college coach and the other, a former D1 football player with LeBron when he was like in 11th grade, if I remember. I mean, it's crazy. But you know what? LeBron has always been that guy that the spotlight has been on. Mm-hmm. The shadow has been on. And it's easy, man, to poke. It's easy to poke. But when he first started playing in the league, and I was still as a college coach, he didn't take the game serious. I remember him playing, I think it was against the Clippers. Okay. And he's just having fun. Think about it. Why wouldn't you have fun? Right. You're making that money. You got to deal with Nike. Yeah. And you are the heir apparent. Yes. And you know it. Yes. And you've been on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Yes. And as the years went on, as he won and he started to know what being a leader was like. He didn't have any vets on his team. It'd be interesting if we had him here to say, who helped you become a leader? Because I don't know. And I watched and I studied the game and I studied personnel. But there was a point when, and I don't believe in flipping a switch as a player. You're either a pit bull or you're a poodle. Yeah. You're either a gangster or you're a wannabe gangster. Yeah, I agree. Right? I agree. And we live in L.A., so we see that all the time. Yes, right? The wannabe tell you he's going to kill you. Yeah. The real gangster, he kills you. Exactly. And don't say a word. Exactly. LeBron became a leader, and I watched it as the years went on. As a college coach, going to Staples Center, watching those games, right? Now LeBron gets a taste of what greatness is at that next level. Yeah. And I just think he just grew into that. And like I said, you never hear anything bad about LeBron. No, you can't, man. And definitely shout out to LeBron. That was my first job as a writer on television with Survivor's Remorse, his first scripted series. Spring Hill, all those guys. And as a man, and what he's done for the community, him speaking out on political issues, like, I don't understand how you could say anything bad about LeBron, other than if he had a bad game. And his bad game is still a great game for most. Right. So it's like you're picking straws at that particular point. Yeah, I mean, you pick up a great point. How many guys build a school, and if you can get through the school with the appropriate grades, he pays for you to go to college? Listen. Yeah. I'm a person from the hood, and a person that has tried to elevate everyone around me, and how difficult that is, and to see someone mastered in a way where not just him, but his entire circle is thriving and is extremely successful on their own. That is a testament of the culture that he breeds around him. And yeah, man, I just think that it's incredible to witness a player and have the opportunity to witness a player of his magnitude reach the level of success and see where it goes from here, because he's far from done. I said this about the late, great, and my really good friend Kobe Bryant. As great as he was on the court, and he left us all way too soon, he was bigger than basketball. That next chapter of storytelling, that next chapter of, to me, you can talk about Caitlin Clark and you can talk about the great players in the WNBA, but Kobe got behind that and it started to roll. It was really early when he was really pushing the WNBA and, RIP to Gigi, just that his love for his daughters and just the game, I think, resonated because of his love of his daughter. Like, and the love is like, imagine both of your loves combined together. Like, I felt like in watching him coach that team, I probably saw him smile more than the entire tenured of his NBA career. Well, truth be told, it's a good thing he didn't have a son, because we all said he couldn't coach. I couldn't coach my sons, and I have half the Mamba mentality, right? I mean, I'm pretty old school. I'm hard. I'm tough, but no one was like him. It was. I watched those practices when he went back and forth with Swaggy P. Right? I watched those practices. When he told Mitch Kupchak. Shout out to Swag. Shout out to Swag. Swaggy P heard we were doing this? He called you a legend. But anyway, I was there when he went off the court and yelled at Mitch Kupchak. Man, you got me a bunch of Charmin in here. There? Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I remember seeing that clip. It was the end of the media. The media was in. And I love it. We heard it all. I love it. But He just had a way about him. And the best thing that I tell kids at my camps is that if you get bored with basics, you'll never be half the player that you want to be. And that's what Kobe was about. He was about basics. And I mean, his whole life was regiment.
I mean,
basics.
listen, I built my entire career off of the Mamba mentality. Listen, my father passed when I was young, and I will say this proudly. I feel like Kobe raised me from afar. In the idea of watching his work ethic, watching this man go up against obstacle, and no matter what the challenge, no matter if his leg was falling off, he's still pursuing his goal. And that is a testament of my entire life and career as far as just going up against any challenge, and no matter what or how or any obstacle in my way, I'm going to achieve my goal. And I'm pretty sure there's countless people that feel the same way I do. Listen, when he passed, man, I definitely cried for at least 2 weeks, and I never met the man, you know. But his influence, his impact, him being true to himself in a way that you knew that was earnest, whether you liked it or not. Like he gave it to you straight, and that's something that I take with me in everything that I do. But let's get back to the current Lakers, and with this 7-2 start, like who has been some of your surprises? Like what do you with the idea of Luka missing time, Austin missing time, just a few key players missing time? Like what do you feel? Who have been a surprise to you?
Well, it's the easiest question that everyone watching the podcast will say. Well, duh. I mean, it was Luka in the sense that Luka came back. We saw him overseas playing. He came back. We saw the pictures. He's just slim and trim. And what surprised me was that he was able to do that, which told me the buy-in. Again, we talked about the buy-in with LeBron, with Coach Redick. So now we talk about the buy-in with Luka. Taking that, hey, Luka could have took that a different way, man, by saying, oh, you're outing me and telling me, and that's what you alluded to. Instead, he bought into it, and he trained, and I'm looking at him, and he's slim and he's trim. And I haven't seen anything basketball skill-wise. I haven't seen anything change with his shot. I haven't seen anything change with his passing. But I'm going to tell you what I've seen live, and I've seen him play now live. His foot speed, his lateral quickness, his ability to defend.
I would say he's defending this season.
Listen, moving his feet. And again, you know, for the guy that's sitting out there on the lazy boy with the beer in his hand or the martini and like, oh, he can't guard. A lot of people can't guard in the NBA. It's hard. You know, they always say, well, this point guard can't guard. Well, guess what? If you're saying he can't guard him, well, he can't guard him back.
I mean, he's just averaging 40.
Yeah. So with Luka, he understands the defensive schemes. But you as a coach can have all the schemes in the world. We talked about this. You can have a script for a movie or a TV show. If you got two guys in there and you let them go, you're not going to change it if it was better than what was written.
Correct.
So all of a sudden you got the schemes, but now I'm seeing him in help. I'm seeing him move his feet lateral. When there's a drive-by on the perimeter, Luka is there to help and recover. The other thing I'm seeing is a lot more communication. I've always said this at any level of basketball. A quiet defense is a bad defense. You've got to have guys that talk. So, point an example. You're the point guard. You're picking up. You're Gabe Vincent. The minute the ball, you get to the point of detonation right before half court, someone's got to yell, I got ball. And it doesn't have to be your man like on the chalkboard when coach gives his pregame speech. The closest man to the ball has got to stop the ball. And that says when you say, I got whoever, I got Steph Curry. Now everybody else has got to filter out, and you've got to have your butt to the baseline, and there's got to be 10 eyeballs on the ball.
Correct.
Because you don't have to worry about your man over there in the corner. The most important person on the court is the man with the ball, because he's the only one that can score. Now you've got to have your principles: one pass away, two pass away. That's shell defense for all the basketball experts, you know, that are out there that are going to listen to this. But Luka now, he's your center fielder. DeAndre Ayton, he's back there, so he's calling screen left, screen right. You know, are you in your plug defense? Are you out? Are you trapping?
And Luka loves a big.
So I'm seeing him do that. The other thing is, I think he took ownership of this team. He knows it's LeBron's team per se. Just like when the torch is passed, right? Kobe passed the torch to LeBron. They weren't on the same team, but there was a passing of the torch. So right now, you see Luka's out there, and he's winning when he's in there. You know, and again, I think he only played 6 quarters in the preseason, but they were a really good 6 quarters. Right. So now LeBron sees that I'm grooming him for however long LeBron is here. Could be a year, could be 2 years. He could be outie in a trade. Yeah. Okay? But that's what I've seen with Luka. So that's the obvious, right? The person that probably is my biggest surprise would be DeAndre Ayton. And the only reason I say that is I had him in high school at camps, all-American camps, and I'm just like looking at him and I'm going, wow. First thing I did was call my son, because he went to Arizona, then coached at Arizona. And I'm like, this dude will be a great player in the Pac-10, you know, at that time. And man, he's got everything you wish for, from his toes to his mindset. And then you see him in college, right? You see he's drafted right high. And he's never, ever, ever reached that moment where I saw him in high school that I thought he could get to. He's always been right there at the plateau, and he's never gotten over.
I guess even with him reaching the finals with Chris and Book?
Yeah, because the mystique is, I want to see him dominate. He's 2 rebounds shy of a double-double. And I know it's early on, but he's giving you 17 and 8. And he's protecting the rim. He's blocking big shots. I mean, let's call it like it is, right? He won the matchup. I was there last night. I'm watching him. He won the matchup with Wemby, who right now was playing at before that game. He was MVP material. Still maybe. He was man that flavor. He was the 32 flavors of Baskin Robbins. He was 33. And they should.
Opening night game was insane by Wemby.
But let me tell you this: DeAndre Ayton won that matchup. So now you bring LeBron back. And now you get the other guys back. You know, and well, let me ask you this. You're hearing it from the coach. I want to hear who you liked. I've given you 2.
Oh man, I gotta speak shout out to Jake how you pronounce his name? LaRavia. Jake LaRavia, man. He's been a surprise ever since that moment when Anthony Edwards questioned who he was or called out his number. And
well, I did the same thing on TV. I was like, who is that?
Well, listen, he heard you all, and it's been balling. A pleasant surprise as the season in its totality thus far has been a surprise as a diehard Laker fans since the 80s, being in the parades with Magic Johnson at the courthouse with him waving the towels. To see the team excel this early with all of these injuries this early in the season, 7-2 is magical.
You know, you pick a great player, because when we all heard that they got him, we're like, well, this is a good glue guy. Like, without me doing my research and not pulling up tape, I'm like, he's going to defend. He can shoot the ball. He's going to dive on the floor for loose balls, which, by the way, big shout out to Marcus Smart, because we're seeing that pit bull mentality come. We'll get him. But back to Jake. Jake is shooting right now. Again, hey, as this podcast picks up, and I'm hoping by tomorrow we have 100,000 followers. Okay, we might be able to get Underdog from TNT. Well, no, we may be able to steal Underdog. That used to be a TNT. You know what Shaq would say? Underdog, put that on a T-shirt. You know, if we get Underdog here and maybe put him up in Manhattan Beach for a couple nights, and we take him out, and maybe you can get him like to a premiere. We don't have stats in front of us, but Jake is like 55% from the field, and I think he's over 40% from 3, hitting timely shots.
But let's talk about Austin Reaves, man. Like, he's been quietly averaging 30. Quietly, like
it ain't quiet in my hood.
Quietly,
yeah.
Oh man, those 2 games that he stepped up when Luka was out. Oh my God, like, it's to see his evolution from last season to this season. I feel the confidence has grown, and the chemistry between him and Luka is just seamless, and it's exciting to see or think of the potential when LeBron finally gets on the court and those 3 guys get to play, because who you going
Pick your poison. Yeah. But you know what else grew?
You can't double nobody.
Yeah, his bag grew. Because you're talking about, you're looking at like 30, 32 million. You keep playing the way he keeps playing the way he's playing.
It's a contract year though.
That's 40, 45 million. And you're saying Austin Reaves, and you know what I love about him?
Yeah.
Again, don't know him. It's like the Showtime Lakers, those are my guys. Right? The Lakers I covered, those are my guys. Right? I don't know this group, right? Because I'm not there every day. I'm not in the scrums, right? I'm getting to know them. But like Austin Reaves, man, that's the kind of dude like you want your daughter to marry. Because he's going to bring home the bacon. He's going to open the door. Yeah. He's got that country in him, and in a good way. And he always defers. Like, he never wants to talk about himself. And he's a bad brother. Yeah. He can create. Yeah. He can pass. And what you're seeing is the evolution of he could be on any other team. Yeah. And he could eat first or second. Remember what Kobe said. I'm going to eat first. Yep. Powell's going to eat second. Yep. And then the rest of y'all are going to get the table scraps.
That's right.
Austin Reaves knows how to play, and he's so competitive. That's the thing I like most about this group collectively. Like when you were just saying when LeBron gets back, it's a competitive group. It's a group that JJ, I can't use the term we use as coaches, but we say we're going to trick blank these guys. Yeah. We're going to trick them, and we're going to get them to buy in. And I'm telling you right now, this Laker team that has been like bits and pieces, puzzle, fitting together every night a different lineup. You credit one JJ for knowing who's hot, who's not, who do I have available, and how can I piece it together and then put a scheme. That scheme last night against San Antonio was one of the best defensive schemes that I watched. The second thing is, offensively, he put players in position. They can load on Luka, right? Luka should attract, attract a crowd. Luka should have attracted 15 defenders. Yes. All of a sudden, you see Luka coming off ball. He's curling off screens. They're setting screens for him. Luka's reading screens. And there was that movement. We always say move with a purpose. A lot of time with LeBron a year ago, you stand there, and when you got a superstar, Kobe for sure, you got four guys flat-footed, and then they stand and they watch. That kills your offensive rebounding, number one. And the toughest thing to guard in AAU basketball, middle school basketball, high school basketball, college, and the NBA is movement. Yeah. Remember Bobby Knight, the late, great Bobby Knight at Indiana, won the national championship, one of them in 1976, went undefeated. Yeah. And he ran motion offense. Well, what did every college coach in the country want to do? 301 college coaches wanted to run motion offense because there's no script to it. It's setting screens. The most difficult thing to do as a player, again, at any level, everybody can set a screen. You're gonna sprint to your screen. Jeff Van Gundy always says, sprint to the screen. So picture a 1-5 pick and roll. Your big's gonna sprint up and set that high screen at the top of the key. You gotta sprint because now the guy that's guarding you, that's setting up his failure to make a decision. Yeah. So you sprint the screen. But the most important thing, Allen, is knowing how to receive a screen. You got to read your defender's angle. You got to read the screener's angle. And then you got to be able to see corner to corner. That's a skill that you got to learn when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Basketball is a game of habits. Austin Reaves, man, he was well coached because he's got habits.
His fundamentals are amazing. I guess from there, like, what do you predict for the next 5 games? Like, how do you see that turning out? Turn that off.
But yeah, wait a second. Wait. Yeah. If that was the pizza and cheesesteaks you ordered.
Well, that was LeBron. I'm gonna call him back.
Hey, well, if it is, and you threw in Spring Hill, we ought to get some damn sneakers.
That's right.
Yeah, I would like that very first pair of LeBrons. Was it the Air Zoom?
Oh yeah.
Okay, whatever his first signature shoe was, I was coaching. Now you have the EBYL, and I'm out of that. My son that coaches in college knows all that. But you have that circuit. We were going to play Boo Williams. Okay, the big tournament was Boo Williams. And rest in peace, George Raveling, who just passed away. And I think it was Don Crenshaw. Yeah. I said, man, we're the best team in California, the best AAU team in California.
Yeah.
I said, is there any way you can get me the new LeBrons for us to wear at the Boo Williams tournament?
Yeah, yeah.
And he did.
Oh, y'all was good.
And we walked out. Well, I don't know if we were good. I don't think we won it. We didn't win it.
You look nice, though.
We were fresh. When we walked in there, I'm going to tell you this. Yeah. When we walked in there, okay, that team got more looks than me and you walking into a nightclub, man, like with Beyonce,
really?
Cardi B. Who's one of your fine sisters? Who's a fine sister that you'd want to go out with tonight if I could arrange it?
Sincere. Yeah, she's a Jamaican artist.
Sincere? Okay,
Sincere, I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Those 12 guys that walked in,
yeah,
they got more looks than Sincere would with you in that T-shirt and them biceps.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Okay. But as we digress, where were we?
So I was saying, as far as the next five games, how do you predict those?
So I don't have it in front of me, but I know they go to Atlanta. They have Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be a good game.
I know they have the Pelicans and the Hornets. I'm not sure of the order, but when I saw it last night on the postgame show on Spectrum, they put up the next 5 games. I said to myself, they're going to go 3-2. They're going to lose at Oklahoma City. Mm-hmm. They're going to beat the Pelicans and they're going to beat the Hornets. And then, Milwaukee Bucks. And then they're going to split the Bucks and the Hawks.
Giannis is playing.
Yeah.
Ooh, out his mind right now.
And that's with, I should preface this, I'm hoping that Austin Reaves is going to come back. I don't know if he'll come back the first game, but in that 5 games, if they can get AR back, I really think they have a chance. They're so connected right now, Allen, and they're playing so hard. And that's when we opened this, when I said a lot of what you're seeing with JJ Redick is Mike Krzyzewski. And not really, and also with Duke, but also Team USA.
Yeah,
that was the connectivity. Hey, man, we're playing for a bigger thing, and a lot of people when the season started thought that the Lakers were national people. They're 7th, they're 8th.
Oh yeah.
Some said they'll be lucky to make the play-in.
The play-in, yes,
to make the play-in. But the way JJ, Rob Pelinka, Jeannie Buss, who has a lot to say, being the overseer of her father's dynasty that he built. Mm-hmm. When you put them together, they put the pieces together.
Yeah.
And, for people to think that they didn't have a chance and then to come out and to go back what you said, to be 7-2 with the players that have been in and out, the credit goes to JJ Redick because I see his culture. And don't get me wrong, I think he's arrogant in a way that coaches want to be arrogant.
Yes,
I think it's my way or the highway. I mean, read his lips in a timeout. I forget what game it was. Well, it had to be the game before. It had to be the game before San Antonio.
I think it's needed as a leader. Like I want to follow someone that believes what he says to himself.
Well, why do you think? Why do you think some people didn't like playing with Kobe? Because he told it like it is. Why does everybody say Rajon Rondo is a coach killer? And I don't know Rondo, but I know guys that played with him. Rondo's not a coach killer.
I loved his game.
Yeah, but
he's
a coach killer. A coach killer. Because he's going to in the walkthrough when an assistant says, "Okay, we're gonna red this, or we're gonna blue this, or we're gonna black this," he might just say no. Now, there's a way to say things. I don't know. I've never been in a shoot around with him, but there's a way for me to tell you, hey man. I'm not going to say that fro is not perfect,
right.
But you got it tied back for a reason. Wait a second, like Coming to America. Do you put berry juice in that thing? This is our first.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's there. This is all fruits and berries.
This is just our first podcast. So my first thought were you coming back from like a Halloween party that you were a little late to come home from?
You're going to see something different from me every episode. Every episode, you might see a different hairstyle, different product, whatever.
Well, let me state for the record,
hair
Allen.
sponsors, holla at us.
Well, let me state for the record. Every show we do, and I'm thinking we're going to do 500 of these, my hair ain't never going to change.
Well, listen, I'll use up all the product. Oh man! So speaking of coaches, let's. Well,
let me ask you. I'm only gonna let you off the hook. So I think the Lakers are going to be 3-2 on this road trip that starts on Saturday.
I think they're going to be 4-1. I think they're going to. I think they can. I think they're going to beat OKC.
Wow.
I think they're going to be OKC.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. Put that.
Is this something that maybe does your heart rate? I want to see. I want to see if you have a pulse.
Listen, call me a diehard. Call me whatever.
You know what I'm going to call you? I might need you to get drug tested the next time before you come into the studio. Is it a belief?
This is the same situation that if we would have had this conversation at the beginning of the season, would you have thought they'd be 7-2?
Yes.
Oh, you would have?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, that's that same confidence that I have that I think they can beat OKC.
As long as you're just not jumping on the bus.
Oh, I'm not jumping on the bus. I just in the idea of the next 5 games, I just think that one. Now, there may be another game that they may slip away, but I think they're going to be locked in for OKC. I don't whoever's lining up, just because that's speaking to how the coach has prepped his players. It's the next man up mentality where everybody's buying into that. And I feel that could be a game that if they are undermanned, OKC might, take their foot off the gas.
They won't. And respectfully, what I'm going to tell you is this, and you're not wrong, because I know what's going to happen. Yeah. They're going to beat OKC, and the next time we come in here, you're going to make me do something wild and crazy. You may have me using your hair product. But let me tell you why I don't think they'll beat OKC. Okay. Because everything you just said so poetically, and everything that you said, again, never coached. I know you played. I know you're good. Little bit. I did my research on you. You were a non-player that turned out to be the most important player on your high school team. And we'll get into that as the show goes on. I mean, trust me. I just don't do a podcast with anybody. You were the first guy that said they would do it with me, so I did jump on that. But point being is, everything you just said about JJ Redick is Mark Daigneault at Oklahoma City. Everything you just said. If there were 2 guys in this league that I thought that really know X's and O's, that really know how to build a culture. And, again, I don't know Daigneault, but last season I was able for ESPN to do a national game they had, Denver Nuggets at Oklahoma City. And I had coached at Oklahoma City, so everyone was great. It was nice to be back, to Loud City. And we spent a year there after Katrina when we moved with the Hornets to OKC.
I remember that.
But to listen to him talk in our pregame talk, where we come in and we talk to the coaches, I was never more impressed talking to a coach that I didn't know, but I watched this team play, about dotting I's, crossing T's, and just having command of the room and the respect that the players had, because when I'm doing a game, I'm watching the bench. I'm watching when guys come out. I'm watching the eye contact. I'm watching, is there an Allen Iverson blow by, which is okay. You got to know the beast that you're coaching. Right. And he could blow by me any day if he ever wanted to come out of retirement. But I think him and JJ are so much alike. But that was a year ago. Forget stats and forget all the things we read as coaches and all the intel. That team last year, Oklahoma City, was the best defensive NBA team that I had seen in a long time.
So do you think that they're going to be able to fight through that sophomore sort of slump? Like, repeating is hard. Repeating and maintaining that sort of tenacity through an 82-game season. So you thoroughly believe that coach has them ready for that?
You know what? I can only tell you this. I've never repeated as an NBA championship. I repeated 3rd grade and 6th grade, which makes me an expert. But I'm going to tell you.
Back.
Yeah, my mom was a 3rd grade teacher, so I did get back to back. Okay. She slapped my ass with that paddle in her room, because back then I think you could paddle kids. And we were at the same school.
A funny and
a big shout out to moms. You know what? We're going to have her on this podcast. If it lasts to Thanksgiving.
All right. So speaking of paddles, shout out to moms, of course. Let's get into our bench segment. Who would you, out of this early season, put on the bench right now?
I don't know what the Mavericks' record is.
It's the worst in the West.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Don't know the numbers, but I know it's the worst.
Yeah, and I recruited Nico Harrison from Tigard, Oregon.
You sure you want to say that
You know what?
In Dallas. Don't say it in Dallas.
You know what? I was saying that he's benched. Oh, no. Let me tell you this. Nico Harrison from Tigard High School, Tigard, Oregon, right by Beaverton. He could have went to a lot of major college basketball programs, but at that point, he wanted to be a doctor or he wanted to be a surgeon, and he was that smart. And I don't believe he wanted to come to West Point, and because he could have played at much higher level basketball.
Right.
But what I sold Nico Harrison on, and especially his mom and dad, was you come to West Point, you play in the Patriot League, and then when everybody has their 4-year military commitment, because when you play there, you got to serve 4 years in the military, you're going to be doing your medical stuff, what do they call it? You're going to be going to med school, and then when you have to go another 4 years, you're not going to war, and God forbid anybody would ever have to go to war. But now you're in a hospital, and when you graduate, you don't have any medical bills. So when you do a home visit, and I've done them everywhere in the world, not just the USA. We went into that home visit, and I'll never forget it. His mom had a 5-course meal for us. They brought out shrimp cocktails. They brought out crab cakes with some kind of Hollandaise sauce on it. Man. So I'm thinking, I don't even have to have a good pitch. I got this, brother. Yeah. He's coming because he's under 18. Mom has to sign the scholarship papers. Oh, yeah, you in the game. So anyway, the reason I picked the Dallas Mavericks is you have AD, who I love. He's just not an alpha dog. Yeah. He's always, and again, I say this with the most respect because not everybody, like I'll go back with you on Blackish. You didn't have the role, you didn't have the monologue or the words that Anthony Anderson did. Right. That's his show. Right. You played a big part of it. You had great lines.
You got to be a star in your role.
But yeah, you got to star in that role. And so he stars in the role. I don't know if there's a better guy that's Robin to Batman that's capable on any given night to drop you 50.
Right.
I would say this, and again, with the utmost respect, is that I've always said that I wanted to see more pit bull in him. You remember what I said earlier. Yeah. You're either a pit bull or a poodle. You can't teach toughness. I can make you stronger. Yeah, I can make you a little bit quicker, but really quickness is fast twitch, slow twist. All these guys that want to take your money or your kid's money, a trainer. I don't know. You can work on technique. I used to have all my big players in college work with the track coach. Right. But you can't teach killer instinct. No. There's Kobe Bryant. Yep. There's CP3. Yep. There's Kevin Garnett. Yeah. There's just guys, man, they would eat you like chicken wings. Yeah. And if Wingstop wants to sponsor us, hey, I'll tell you about eating like
chicken wing, lemon pepper.
Yeah.
All of that.
No. Listen, we're not going to Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta where the players play.
Come on.
Yeah, don't take me to the Magic Lantern, to the Magic something.
Come on.
But I know that I did have those wings, but I had them delivered to the hotel.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Actually, a friend of mine, Arash Markazi, man, that used to cover me at USC and our team. Yeah. And just worldwide traveler. I think he's had those wings.
Oh, he definitely, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. We're gonna have him. We're gonna have him in here because
we'll ask him in person one day.
That dude can eat some wings. But anyway, back to the Mavericks, and then you have Cooper Flagg, who, was as pro-ready. I mean, I saw Boozer play Texas Duke the other night, right? Opened it up in the inaugural Dick Vitale thing they had in Charlotte. Yeah. Watching Boozer play, I think he was 0 for 8 in the first half, and then the second half, man, he just tore it up. Yeah. Watching him, he's as draft ready as a guy that played his first college game that I've seen, but Cooper Flagg was also that way. So I'm just a little disappointed. Again, haven't watched him play. Just watching, I haven't read in depth, but I would have to bench them right now because I had them as one of my top 4 teams. Like when you think of teams right now, I would say Oklahoma City. Yeah. I would definitely say the Lakers. Yeah. I put in Denver, and I put in Houston. You can put in Minnesota. I mean, those are the ones that were at the top of my list. I just thought Dallas would come out of the chute just a little bit better.
I agree.
So I've been disappointed. Who would you bench?
Oh, man, I think I'll go to the East. And, who would I go? I think I'm going to go with the Grizzlies. And just, I don't know who specifically to bench, but just the organization as far as them not figuring out the Ja situation. And I think, whether it's coach or star, I think that is a decision that they're in the middle of, where we've seen this story many, many times, and it shouldn't be even, I don't think, painted in a negative light, is just as far as this idea of stars dictating their coaches. Like, this has just been what it is, and especially at the NBA level. So, and it's not about, again, right or wrong, but it's more or less making a decision on what you're going to do with your organization.
Sure.
Like, with your organization. You can definitely probably pick sides on who's right and who's wrong, but in the idea of the franchise, I think they're in limbo. And this was a team, prior to the incidents that Ja put himself into, was on the cusp of contender, and all of that is blown up. They traded Bane. Are they going into the direction where I forgot their center or power forward's name? What is his name? I can't remember, but are they leaning towards making him the star player? Yeah. I think that is all in flux, and what we're seeing in their season is the lack of definitive decisions on what they want to do with their franchise. And I feel like in order for them to survive, they got to make that quick.
Well, let me ask you this question. You go back to Ja's situation, and I know everyone's aware of it with the firearm.
Right.
So Memphis stood by him.
Correct.
Right? Memphis kept him. Right? So I was really disappointed that he wasn't happy. May not be happy with what's going on at practice. We don't know it. We're not there.
Right.
He may be not happy. Well, obviously he's not happy because of what he said, but he just was like, ask the coach. The reporter kept asking those questions, and I like that because I don't like soft questions. That's the one. I want to bench some of the media. I want to bench the media because the media, listen, you never attack somebody. And there's always three sides to a story. There's A side, there's B side, and then there's the truth somewhere that's floating in the middle. But the reporter wasn't asking any bad questions. He was asking him legitimate questions. And he kept saying, ask the coach. He just wouldn't answer the question, and he outed the coach. I have a problem that he would go public. If you have a problem, go into the coach. If you can't settle it, go into the GM and then go to the owner. And so what are your thoughts? That he brought it public.
I just think there's probably been so much behind the scenes that as certain players, when they get pushed to that certain level, they go to the mic. They go to that is the opportunity for them and to voice their displeasures in a way that is going to get a reaction.
Is he good enough to be able to be that player to do that? Because I
believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. He hasn't, the situation, I think maturity, all of those things come into play. He's still young. I think he's an incredible talent, an athlete out of this world. On the financial side, he is a box office draw. The kids love him. So just off of that aspect alone, from like I said, a franchise, and I'm not blaming the coaches either. I just think that these issues were stirring on. I don't know nothing about nothing. This is me just observing.
Well, I love this.
You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to hear your thoughts as a fan.
I just think that there has been some issues with the team for years, and this particular coach is in the middle of already a bad relationship, and I think this is all spilling out now. This has been years in the making.
So how do we solve it? I'm the owner, and let's put you in the position of the coach. How do we get through this?
It's because you got two different things you're thinking of. And you're thinking business, and then you're thinking of the season. Business wise, Memphis is already. I think they were selling tickets for like $20 or $2 or something the other day. So they need a draw.
Yeah.
They need a box office player. So with that decision, you got to keep Ja. But in the idea of Ja, I think reaching his full potential, I think he has to go to another team. I think he has to go to another franchise with a fresh start. It's similar to any bad relationship. Once that trust is broken, that's where I was seeing if you're going. Because
my thing is you take these young players. I think of Boogie Cousins right away. I like Boogie Cousins. Again, never coached him, but I know people that know him, mutual people. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. But he never really had anybody early on, a vet, that could patrol the locker room. See, the best teams and the best cultures, the coach doesn't have to be the policeman.
Not to interrupt you, but is that the player or is that the franchise?
Both.
Okay.
Both. It's both, because that's where I'm not pointing, because when you point, you're pointing at one person and you got the three coming back. My point is some guys that need that veteran to be in that locker room. That's why some of these vets that they, like Kevin Love. Kevin Love may be able to come in and hit a three and throw that pass he made famous at UCLA.
Yeah.
And Kevin Love is in unbelievable shape, but he's a locker room guy. He's a locker room guy. He's there to teach guys how to be pros. Yeah. And some of these guys don't have that. And that's where I think it gets into with Ja. And it's 50% on Ja. Yeah. And as you said, 50% on the franchise.
Like I said, I lean more onto the franchise, just being that this has been a common problem for many franchises as far as them not having enough vets. And it's the league is getting younger and younger and younger. And I think that is important as the elders in the room to see that. These are young kids that are coming in, getting money that they've never made, opportunities they've never, in front of people they've never been in front of before. And as anyone in their 20s, how many mistakes in my 20s that the camera wasn't on me that I'm so glad, So for a player to live life on the court with all of these expectations and to think that he's going to figure it out all by himself, I think that is a dangerous place to put your most valuable investment.
Correct.
So I just think that as the franchises need to really, whether it's even in whatever one player, whether it's the bottom of 14th man is designated for vets for that particular reason alone, because you're just gambling with your assets. Yep. If you don't put that leadership in, and you see how important, and this has been this is decades of everyone pointing this out, and the franchises still haven't made that adjustment. And I think that's where I give Ja a lot of grace as far as being a young man making these decisions in front of the world and having the ability to mature from it and having an actual chance to get a clean slate. And I think in Memphis, I don't think he'll ever get that. It's because that stench of all of those bad mistakes kind of live there. It's again, once those relationships you in, and once it's broken, you try. Y'all been together 3, but y'all been breaking up 2. And I think that's what is happening in Memphis, where this coach has just got injected into this bad relationship, and now, especially him being from a European coach, like, he doesn't know what is even going on. There's a lack of communication right there alone. American player versus a European coach, like, you're already bumping heads. And as a franchise, you should have already known that was going to happen.
I grew up in a foreign country in Allentown, PA.
Yeah.
I'm the coach. I know what it means when he says, ask the coach. Next question. Ask the coach.
I know you've been in that position. I'm sure you've been in that position.
I didn't graduate from Harvard, USC, Princeton, MIT. I know what the hell he was meaning.
Yeah, definitely. So, hopefully they figure it out, and Ja gets an opportunity to become a superstar that I know his talent says that. He just hasn't had the opportunity, and people really discount your mental health when it comes to you doing what you're great at, and how that can affect his game, where it's like, everything is, his numbers are low. Of course they are. Like, right. He's a human being, and I just feel for everybody in Memphis, as, again, the franchise, I think, needs to really make a decision on what they want to do for the future, whether it be Ja or be this new sort of era in their franchise. All right, so with the Grizzlies in that sort of situation talked about, your final thoughts on this first episode?
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. I got to work on my hair game.
Okay, yes.
I definitely have to get into the gym and get these. I've never thought of implants. I've had a dental implant, but I'm going to get some bicep implants. And I got to tell you this.
Yeah.
Absolute pleasure to be able to start this podcast, because you've played the game. You're a huge NBA fan, a huge college fan, and we're going to delve into everything. This is going to be a good team. We're going to have some EFT.
Okay.
You bring the energy.
Yeah.
You bring the focus.
Yeah.
And I'll bring the toughness.
Yeah, he's got all the toughness, guys.
Yeah, right.
Listen, we're going to wrap this up. This is episode 1 of Bench, man. Pleasure. Peace, y'all.